Hello there. Once again, this is Anton from Antonable Bay. Had family visiting all week and had a great time, but had to run to El Paso to drop them off at the airport. And while in El Paso, the first trip to pick them up from the airport, I had picked up a whole bunch of more action figures that were on sale from the GameStop sales, and I ended up getting a full wave of Marvel Legends, and I got this Build-A-Figure from the Captain Marvel wave. I had no interest in this Build-A-Figure. I just wanted to show it off. This thing was way cooler than I thought it was going to be, and definitely worth the price of the wave. You know, because you get the Build-A-Figure plus every figure in the wave, and it was like $5 a figure. So, you know, it's just way cooler. It's the Kree Sentry, and he's just way neater than I thought he was going to be. And I wanted to say, hey, check this guy out. He's pretty sweet. I guess I will put him over there, maybe. Anyway, also stopped in at one of my favorite comic book stores in El Paso that I haven't got to stop at a lot. I've been going to Rebels every time I get there, and this time Rebels was kind of a long ways out of our way, so we stopped at a small shop called Black Sheep Comics, and I picked up this katana figure for, it was like 15 bucks, and I was super thrilled with it. This is I almost picked it up at Walmart, but I was like, 20 bucks, I'm not quite into it. But, you know, for this being a DC and a Mattel, this thing is actually really nice. If I can get it to focus. Anyway, she's really nice. So I was pleased with that, and pleased that I could get it for $5 less. They'd already removed the BAF part, and you know what, I'm fine with that. I wasn't interested in the Killer Croc BAF, and there's no way I'm going to pick up the rest of the line. So to be able to get it for that price, very, very pleased with. And I got a little stack of comics. Nothing big and exciting, nothing major. They have like a 50-cent bin that's like one box. It's maybe half full. But I flipped through it anyway and saw some cross-gen books. And I do like cross-gen stuff. Mostly they're also well-made. Slick pages. Kind of like Image used to be, only, I don't know, just different. I didn't appreciate them though. Oh, nice. Guest stars Kevin Smith and Al Snow. That's pretty cool. But anyway, if I see some cross-gen comics, and if I remember right, these were made by like the guys from Wizard, like left Wizard and made their own comics. But I picked up a few issues. I got issue number 2 of Crux, Crux number 10, Crux number 29. And I don't know, they just seemed like kind of neat, and I didn't want to pass on them. Not for 50 cents. I've picked up different piles of cross-gen stuff in the past, and I'll probably go through and maybe do like just a video on just all the cross-gen comics I found, because there's a bunch of them out there that, you know, I didn't know about and I haven't read, and the art's really good in these. So there's definitely a kind of a futuristic sword and sorcery type house style that seems to go with everything cross-gen that I found, and I appreciate it. So I'm trying to think of the names of some of the others that I've read that I did appreciate. Chuck Dixon, Paul Ryan, Pablo Marcus, some good names. Mark Waid, I'm gonna consider that probably a good name. All I remember from Mark Waid is all the work he did on The Flash, and everything has to do with time travel. My brother was a big Flash reader, and he got tired of Mark Waid's constant time traveling thing, but it kind of goes with the character. I grabbed this is cross-gen, but it's kind of a little bit newer, I think. This is Ruse number 17. It's a lady riding a dragon. And that's gonna make me buy a comic, especially if it's only 50 cents. You know, I'm gonna grab that. Why not? And it's got the typical house style and looks like stuff. I see dragons. I see deserted island. Everything that appeals to me in a comic book. So, of course, I'm gonna grab that. Then on my way, well, I grabbed a few more, but I do want to show this one. I don't buy new comics. I haven't bought any new comics except for one, Betty and Veronica, just because I see so many people grabbing them and I'm like, oh, the covers look so amazing. But I saw an issue of Elvira with Elvira on the cover, and she still looks great. She's been doing Comic-Cons lately. She's been making a comeback. And I was just like, you know what? That's a really good cover. Been a fan of Elvira's work with her like TV shows and stuff like that she's done. And I was just like, you know what? I should probably have a comic with her on the cover. It was $4. I mean, you know what? I'm going to snag that. The comic book shop was like, yeah, that's the last one we have. They just kind of had it up on display. But yeah, I had to get at least one Elvira cover needs to be in my collection. That's just that's what it should be. Otherwise, in their 50-cent bin, which is pretty much all I really found that I wanted. There wasn't a whole lot else there at the shop I was really into that day. I'm kind of burnt out this week and been on an action figure kick, but I came across Dark Horse Insider. There was a bunch of these in there, and I grabbed a few. I just did a video on Marvel Age recently, and it's not a comic, it's just like a premiere comic. And I thought that was really interesting looking. Mostly because a lot of times these are cool because I'll find out about comics that I never heard of. And they'll be like advertising something that they think is going to be great. And it'll never land, it'll never stick. But that's what's cool to me is I'll find out about something I had no idea even existed. This one is set up a little bit weird. A little bit weirder than the others, but I was very happy with it. This one is from September 1993. Here is an October 10th, 1992, and the back art on this thing is just fantastic. Look at that. It's Predator, it's Magnus Robot Fighter. That's just great. And this one is set up more like your typical, I don't know what you call these, premiere comic book type things. So it had a lot of ads and articles, but it also had some comic strips in it. I actually had this Alien vs. Predator 2, which they ended up calling Alien vs. Predator War when they made the series. Actually a very good mini-series. I highly recommend it. But, yeah, it had ads. It has some interview type stuff in it. I just thought it was cool. So, for 50 cents, I'm gonna check that out. They got ads for Nexus Liberator, which I've got quite a few issues of that. Pretty excited to get it and very excited about that back cover. They had August 1993, Dark Horse Insider. Kind of more of the same, but I love these old comic book advertisements. It gives you like such a, I don't know, I could just imagine reading this back then and waiting to see what was going to come out. I remember when Motorhead came out, I was reading that. At least the first few issues. Wasn't super fantastic, but it was fun. So anyway, grabbed one of those. Now, I kept looking because I kept having these things in there. This is Amazing Heroes, January 15th, 1985. This is an old one. An older one. And it is more of the same. It is Comics Review, old ads, DC's 10, who could do it better? There's an advertisement for Love and Rockets. Probably about the time it would have been like popular and new. But heavy on the interview, a lot of words, a lot of like, this is a breakdown of the Star Wars comic and some reviews on that. Interviews with the writers. Just really cool stuff. Like, I've never seen any of this stuff. I've never seen that before. Oh, wow. Normal Man. Number 7. Remember that, because I actually found this comic in the same haul. I found a copy of Normal Man. And I'll show it here in just a minute. I didn't realize that was in there. But yeah, this kind of stuff, it's just awesome. It's a snapshot of history at the time. 1985. What did the comic world look like in 1985? Pre-Ninja Turtles. Yeah, pre-Ninja Turtles. Okay, so I found another fanzine. This is the last of the fanzine things I found. This one's called Eclipse Monthly. I don't remember the year on this. 83. And it is actually more of like a... It's got, of course, a ton of ads for other Eclipse comics. But it's just broken up of small short stories from different artists, different times. Just doing short stories and stuff. There's an ad for the Dean Agents. Good comic that came out later. The art was good, and it jumps around from different artists. There's a short story from or I guess it's just an ad, from Miss Tree, another comic that I'm pretty much into. But yeah, just like short little pieces of comic book history. And I was super excited to find that. So anyway, 50 cents. What else did I find? I found this comic, and I didn't look like anything special, but I've never seen a comic like this. When I went to flip it open, I was like, what is this? And it turns out you can flip through it like that, only to a certain point, because this comic is one sheet. If you can get like the grasp of this, I might have to back this camera up for just a second. Oh, if I can. Yeah, this is a comic. The comic unfolds into one single page. How weird is that? I've never seen that before in anything. So I, of course, was like, what in the world? I have to get this. It's odd. Like, I've never seen that. And I've seen quite a few comics now, so yeah. Looks like a normal comic. Pick it up, it feels like one. And it's literally one giant page of poster type material folded up. Wow. Just what? I don't even know what that is. This one did not look interesting to me at all, but it had Eternity on it, and I do love me some Eternity comics, so I thought I'd better grab it. Of course, it's got, you know, that really awesome Eternity style, you know, scratchy, super intense art style. That guy's chewing a nail. Just looked like something I would think was cool to flip through. I haven't found any Blade of Shuriken, or any more of them. I found a few. I need some more of those. Those are interesting. Here's that issue of Normal Man I was talking about. We just saw it in the ad. If you've never heard of Normal Man, he basically lives on a planet of people with superpowers, but he's the only normal man, which makes him like extremely desirable in a world of violence and chaotic super battles going on all the time. He is a normal man. This makes him highly desirable by the ladies. So it's kind of funny. Captain Everything. It's definitely got some humor to it. And there's like one dude who's like just basically he's naked. I don't know what his power is, but everybody's got powers except for Normal Man. So I do recommend those. If you see one, pick it up. They are worth reading. At least, you know, somewhat worth reading. I grabbed this just because it, you know, it's got the vintage weird sci-fi looking planes on it. It's got it just has like that like vintage feel to it. It reminds me of some old Airboy stuff, and it's Marvel's Epics line, so I thought I'd give it a try. Crash Ryan. I'd probably do all right with that one. Deeds. Don't eat the electric sheep. Deeds. Okay, issue 5. I just got it because it looked odd. I didn't read what the title was. It was a book I didn't recognize, so I flipped it open. And just the oddness of a guy in a duck mask running around kind of sold me on it. So I thought I'd give it a whirl. Little bit weird, but what are you gonna do? Another Epic Comics. It's Marvel's variant line. Heavy Hitters, Offcasts. I don't know, something about it drew me to this. I was digging it. But there wasn't a lot to pick in the quarter bin. And I always pass on anything with the big E on it, but I've been kind of starting to lighten up on that and maybe grab a few more. And that's why I grabbed this Alien Legions. I've got a few trades from it. I always like the art in it. I haven't really tied into any of it yet. As far as like in-depth reading or anything, I've skimmed them, but I don't know. It looks like something I would enjoy. It was 50 cents, so I grabbed it because it's an issue 1, first 48 page special. Thought maybe it would help get me going on the rest of the series at some point, but you know, at 50 cents, I will grab some Alien Legion. They're not like spectacular, and they're another comic from the Marvel Comics Epic line. I grabbed Dynamo Joe, which I know I've seen in a bin before, but I couldn't remember if I grabbed it or not. And if this has been in a video before, then I don't know. But I was just thinking, I can't remember if I got this or not. It's giant space robots. I don't want to leave it if it is. And I saw ads for Nexus in there. So, you know, probably better snag it. Not something I feel like I want to leave behind. I can't decide which side I wanted to put it on. I grabbed issue number 4 of Nemesis the Warlock. Eagle Comics. I had one of these that I acquired in a bin when I was very young. Very horrific. And it's one of those comics where I always like, ooh, you felt creepy just having it. You know, this is one that, like, it's so like gross and graphic and violent. You kind of didn't want your parents to know that you had one, but I had it. I never really, I mean, I was always like, I always had it, but it was always too creepy to read, and it always made me unsettled looking at it because it is messed up. But I saw it in the bin, and it reminded me of all that, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna grab that. I'll flip through it. It always makes you feel creepy. And then I wasn't sure if I had this issue of Atomic Angels or not. And for 50 cents, sometimes, you know, you just gotta grab something in case you don't have it. Maybe you have it. Maybe you can't remember if you have it. But you don't want to leave it for that. Not for 50 cents. Not for a bunch of cyber girls riding on motorcycles. You don't want to miss out on that. I mean, look at that. You don't want to miss out on that. That's too good. It's too cheesy. It's too 90s. Can't pass it. So anyway, you don't want to miss on cyber chicks on motorcycles. Atomic Angels. Don't want to lose out on that one. So anyway, that is what I got in El Paso. It's nothing big. It's nothing fantastic. Very happy with the action figures I got, and I'm about wiped out from hitting all the GameStop. But this has been my pickups. I didn't do a whole lot of damage at the comic book store. I did get some more long boxes and things that I needed. But if you're ever in El Paso, definitely check out Black Sheep Comics. Very small store with very good prices and very good product. And also check out Rebel Comics. They're a great shop too. So anyway, that's my story, and hope you guys liked this video. I will catch you guys later. Bye.